quiet, slightly dull, and deeply unprepared for what is about to happen. A pale yellow sun hangs lazily over Evergreen Terrace. Birds chirp. Somewhere, a lawnmower sputters to life and immediately dies. Inside the Simpsons house, Homer lies sprawled on the couch, one arm dangling toward the floor, his mouth open, a faint snoring rhythm competing with the TV's static glow. Suddenly, the air outside warps. Not explodes, not cracks. It warps, as if reality itself has taken a deep breath and forgotten how to exhale. The sky above Springfield twists into a swirling oval, colors bending like wet paint. Purple bleeds into green, blue folds into orange. The clouds stretch and snap like rubber bands, reforming into shapes that make no sense to human geometry. Lisa Simpson, walking to the front window with a book in her hands, freezes. "Dad," she says quietly, "the sky is doing something scientifically impossible." Homer opens one eye. "Lisa, if it's not on fire or asking for money, it's probably fine." The sky answers him with a thunderous bowing. A sound like a spring snapping echoes across the neighborhood. Ned Flanders drops his rake. Chief Wiggum looks up from his donut and squints. Even the power plant smokestacks pause their pollution as if confused. Then the portal opens fully. It doesn't roar like a black hole or crackle like lightning. It stretches open with a soft zip, the unmistakable sound of a cartoon being unrolled. And out of it steps a gray rabbit. He lands casually on the sidewalk in front of the Simpsons house, brushing dust from his fur, chewing a bright orange carrot. He looks around, unbothered, relaxed, eyes half-lidded with eternal confidence. "Ah," he mutters, glancing at the sky, the houses, the unfamiliar yellow people staring at him. "What's up, Springfield?" The world stops. Marge drops a plate in the kitchen. Bart's skateboard slips from his hands. Lisa's jaw hangs open, not in fear, but in pure intellectual shock. "That," Lisa whispers, "is a two-dimensional animated lagomorph exhibiting autonomous interdimensional travel." Homer blinks. Marge, the bunny's talking. Before anyone can respond, the portal burps. A blue blur shoots out like a cannonball and slams face first into the lawn. "I demand a redo!" Daffy Duck screams, peeling himself off the grass. This landing was completely unscripted. He flails wildly, spinning around until he notices Homer. "Yo!" Daffy points dramatically. "Tall yellow man! Where am I, and why does everyone look like undercooked bananas?" Bart's eyes light up. "Dad! Dad! Dad!" This is the greatest day of my life. The portal begins ejecting more figures in rapid succession. Porky Pig tumbles out, rolling twice before standing upright and nervously adjusting his bow tie. This doesn't look like Warner Brothers. Tweety floats gently down, wings fluttering, landing on the mailbox. I taught a new art style." Immediately after, Sylvester crashes through the portal, eyes locked on Tweety. "Suffer and succotash." He lunges. Sylvester misses, slides across the sidewalk, and smashes head first into the Simpsons' front door. The door explodes into splinters. Marge screams. "Oh my goodness, the door!" Bugs. Bunny size. Every time. The portal shakes again, this time violently. A red-bearded blur spins out, firing pistols into the air. "Yeehaw!" Yosemite Sam roars. "Where's the varmint responsible for this cursed dimension hopping?" He fires again. One bullet ricochets off a fire hydrant, hits a street sign, and somehow lands perfectly in Moe's tavern window, 3 blocks away, shattering a glass. Moe looks up. Must be Tuesday. Back on Evergreen Terrace, The ground trembles as something heavy emerges. An anvil, then another. Then a tall, thin coyote steps out, holding a clipboard. Wile E. Coyote pauses, reads the sign nearby. Evergreen Terrace. He sighs. From the final ripple of the portal, a tornado of brown fur erupts. Tasmanian devil spinning uncontrollably, ripping up grass, mailboxes, and Ned Flanders' hedge in one continuous scream. Hey diddly! Ned vanishes into the dust cloud. Silence follows. The portal flickers weakly, then stabilizes, hovering ominously above the street like a cosmic punchline waiting to be delivered. Springfield stands stunned. Chief Wiggum arrives late, siren blaring, immediately slipping on a banana peel that did not exist 5 seconds ago. All right, move along. He stops, staring at Bugs Bunny. Chief, am I hallucinating again? Bugs looks directly at him. Depends. Did you eat the powdered donut or the jelly-filled one? Homer steps forward slowly, squinting at Bugs. He pokes him. Bugs bends with the poke, stretches like rubber, then snaps back. Ow, Homer says. Marge, it's solid. Marge clutches Maggie, who is laughing hysterically at Tweety fluttering above her. Lisa steps closer, eyes blazing with curiosity. Who are you? Where are you from? And how are you violating the conservation of mass, energy, and narrative consistency? Bugs Bunny smiles. Doc, he says, taking another bite of his carrot. I don't violate the laws of physics. He gestures toward the portal, the chaos, the broken door, and the stunned town. I outrun 'em. High above Springfield, the portal hums quietly. And reality, for the first time, realizes it has lost control. For a brief, fragile moment, Springfield holds its breath. Then the chaos resumes, only now it spreads. The portal above Evergreen Terrace emits a low rhythmic hum, like a giant tuning fork vibrating reality itself. Every few seconds, the air shimmers, bending streetlights and mailboxes slightly out of alignment, as if the town is being redrawn frame by frame. Lisa adjusts her glasses, scribbling mental notes at impossible speed. The portal isn't just open, it's anchored, she says. Something on the other side is stabilizing it. Bugs. Bunny glances up at the swirling colors. Yeah, that figures. Figures what? Marge asks, stepping forward despite every instinct screaming at her not to. Bugs shrugs. These things never stay open unless someone upstairs wants a good laugh. As if on cue, the ground behind them beeps. Wile E. Coyote stands perfectly still, holding a small black device with a blinking red light. The label reads, Acme Dimensional Anchor. Do not use near plot-heavy environments. He looks at the warning, then at the portal, then shrugs. The anchor explodes in a puff of glitter and smoke, doing absolutely nothing. Wile E. Coyote's shoulders slump. He holds up a small sign. Figures. Bart nearly passes out laughing. This is better than Itchy and Scratchy, he gasps. Dad, can we keep them? Homer stares at Yosemite Sam, who is currently attempting to wrestle a fire hydrant into submission. Depends, Homer says. Do they eat much? Yosemite Sam spins, pistols blazing. Who said that? I'll turn this town into a smoking crater. Chief Wiggum finally regains his footing and draws his gun, pointing it in the exact wrong direction. All right, nobody move, he shouts. Especially you, weird animal people. Tasmanian Devil immediately moves. He tears down the street, ripping up asphalt, swallowing a parking meter whole, and spitting out the coins in a neat pile that lands directly in Chief Wiggum's hat. Wiggum blinks. Huh, tax refund. Meanwhile, Sylvester has recovered from his collision with the front door and spots Tweety perched on Lisa's shoulder. "Oh, no you don't." He lunges. What follows is a chase that ignores all spatial logic. They run through the Simpsons' living room, despite never entering the house, reappear on the roof, vanish behind a passing cloud, and crash back onto the lawn, leaving behind a perfectly cat-shaped hole in the grass. Maggie claps. Marge screams again. "Someone do something!" Marge cries. "Lisa!" Lisa looks torn between terror and fascination. "Mom, they're operating on slapstick physics. Traditional containment methods may not apply." Bugs Bunny watches the chaos like a bored theater critic. "Well, this escalated quicker than usual," he says. He walks over to Homer, who is now holding a donut defensively like a weapon. "So, big guy," Bugs says, "you always get interdimensional visitors, or am I just lucky?" Homer squints. "Last week, we had a talking bear. This feels louder." A sudden whistle cuts through the air. An Acme rocket streaks past them, pursued by Wile E. Coyote at full sprint. The rocket slams into the Simpson mailbox, which instantly transforms into a crater. The mailbox pops back up unharmed, a tiny flag raised politely. Wile E. Coyote skids to a stop, peers into the crater, then looks directly at the camera that does not exist. He holds up another sign. "Wrong target." Lisa blinks. Did he just break the fourth wall? Bugs smirks. "Kid, we shattered that thing decades ago." Suddenly, the portal pulses violently. A shockwave ripples across the street, knocking everyone back except the Looney Tunes, who wobble like rubber and snap back into place. The sky darkens slightly, colors oversaturating, shadows stretching too long. Lisa gasps. The portal is destabilizing Springfield's animation style. Our world is blending. Homer looks at his hand. It stretches, just a little. He screams. "Why are my fingers bouncy?" Bart pokes Homer's arm, watching it jiggle. "Cool." The Looney Tunes begin to notice it too. Daffy squints at Marge. "Hey, why are you moving at 12 frames per second now?" Marge looks down at herself. Her movements feel exaggerated. "Oh no," she whispers. "I can feel the squash and stretch." Bugs. Bunny's expression finally changes. For the first time, he looks concerned. "That's not good," he says. "When the worlds start borrowing each other's rules, things get messy." As if summoned by those words, the portal flares again. This time, it opens wider. Springfield landmarks flicker into view inside it. Quickie Mart, the power plant, Moe's Tavern, overlaid with painted desert backdrops and endless highways that lead nowhere. Reality is no longer sure which universe it belongs to. Lisa steps forward, determination overriding fear. "We need to stabilize this," she says, before Springfield becomes permanently cartoon logic. Bugs looks down at her, impressed. "Not bad, Doc," he says. "Most folks just scream." Homer raises his hand. "I screamed." "Yes," Bugs replies, "but you also adapt surprisingly well." Before Lisa can respond, a loud ding echoes from the portal. A massive Acme crate begins to slide through, stamped across it in red letters. "Property of Warner Brothers. Return if lost between dimensions." Wile E. Coyote's eyes light up with hope. Yosemite Sam grins wickedly. Daffy rubs his hands together. "Oh, this is gonna be good." The crate tips forward. The portal strains. Springfield braces itself. And the true scale of the crossover finally begins to reveal itself. The Acme crate doesn't simply fall. It hesitates. Suspended halfway out of the portal, it creaks ominously, wood straining as if it too understands the consequences of fully entering Springfield. The portal flickers around it, sparks of color snapping like static. Lisa's eyes widen. That crate is acting like a dimensional keystone. If it crosses completely, the crate drops. It slams into Evergreen Terrace with a deafening wham, sending a shockwave through the street. Houses wobble, trees bend. Homer is briefly flattened like a pancake, then reinflates with a gasp. Oof, I felt that in my soul, he mutters. The crate cracks open. Inside is nothing. Absolutely nothing. Daffy Duck peers inside, beak inches from the emptiness. Hello, he snaps. Is this some kind of joke? I demand to speak to management. The emptiness moves. The air inside the crate twists, forming a void darker than shadow, an absence shaped like potential disaster. Wile E. Coyote's ears flatten. Bugs. Bunny takes a step back. That, Bugs says slowly, is not standard issue. The void spills out. It doesn't consume. It rewrites. The sidewalk beneath it transforms into a painted desert road, stretching infinitely in both directions. A cactus pops into existence, complete with a tiny bird that chirps once and vanishes. Chief Wiggum stares at the road. Did anyone else see the street turn into Arizona? Ralph pops up beside him. I like roads that go nowhere. Yosemite Sam fires at the void. The bullets freeze midair, turn into tiny flags reading bang, and fall harmlessly to the ground. That's cheatin', Sam roars. The void expands further, brushing the Simpsons' lawn. The grass becomes a checkerboard pattern. Flowers inflate, deflate, and rearrange themselves into smiling faces. Marge drops to her knees. My lawn. I just mowed it. Lisa clenches her fists. The void is enforcing pure cartoon abstraction. It's overriding our universe's narrative consistency. Bugs. Bunny nods grimly. Yeah, that's the raw stuff. The kind of thing animators argue about at 3 a.m. The void pulses. And then it notices Homer. A thin black outline draws itself around him. Homer gasps as his body snaps into sharper exaggeration. His eyes bulge wider. His mouth stretches unnaturally. His movements suddenly elastic. Why do I feel funnier? Homer asks. Bart's grin is feral. Dad, you're becoming a cartoon. Homer runs. His legs spin before touching the ground. He accelerates instantly, vanishing in a cloud of dust, reappearing seconds later wrapped around a lamppost. Ow! Ma! Bugs Bunny winces. Yep, he's got the physics. The void ripples again. This time, the Simpsons' house itself begins to simplify. Lines grow bolder, colors flatten, windows pop slightly out of place, snapping back with springy boings. It's... Lisa backs away in horror. If this continues, Springfield won't just host the Looney Tunes, it'll become their world. Daffy crosses his arms. Finally, a place with proper comedic priorities. A loud meep meep echoes from nowhere. Wile E. Coyote freezes. Slowly, from the painted desert road, Roadrunner zips through Springfield at impossible speed, leaving glowing skid marks across houses, cars, and one very confused Reverend Lovejoy. Wile E. Coyote screams silently and gives chase. They vanish into the distance, leaving behind a smoking outline of the town's skyline carved into the air. Chief Wiggum sighs. I'm not writing this report. The void begins to shrink, then abruptly collapses inward. Everything snaps back. The painted road vanishes. The checkerboard lawn returns to grass. Homer's outline stabilizes, though his fingers still jiggle when he moves. Everyone exhales. Lisa slumps forward. The void retreated, but it's not gone. It's anchored to the portal. Bugs stares up at the sky, which means somebody on our end didn't close the door right. Marge looks around at the wreckage, the broken door, the craters, the confused townspeople. So what happens now? She asks. Before anyone can answer, the portal emits a cheerful ding. Another crate slides through, smaller this time. Stamped in bold red letters. Acme Emergency Plot Device. Use only in case of crossover. Daffy grabs it immediately. Mine. Bugs yanks it back. Nice try, Duck. The crate pops open, releasing a rolled-up blueprint that unfolds midair, stretching across the street like a movie storyboard. Lisa's eyes light up. It's a narrative stabilizer, she breathed. It regulates causality through comedic timing. Bugs grins. See, the kid gets it. Suddenly, the portal shudders again. This time, the hum deepens. Lower. Heavier. Something else is approaching from the other side. Nah. Something not slapstick. Not silly. The colors inside the portal darken, forming jagged shapes that don't bounce when they move. Bugs Bunny's ears droop slightly. Oh, he mutters. That's new. Lisa swallows. What is it? Bugs doesn't answer immediately. Instead, he tightens his grip on the carrot. Let's just say, he says quietly, not everything that wanders between cartoons is here for a laugh. The portal opens wider. A shadow crosses its surface. And Springfield, already stretched to its limits, prepares to meet something far stranger than slapstick. The shadow inside the portal moves slowly. Too slowly. It does not stretch or squash. It does not bounce. It slides, cutting through the swirling colors like a blade through fabric. Where it passes, the portal's brightness dulls, as if humor itself is being drained from the space. Bugs. Bunny stiffens. That ain't right, he mutters. Lisa feels it immediately, a pressure behind her eyes, like a joke that refuses to land. The energy signature has changed, she says. This isn't comedic distortion, it's narrative intrusion. Homer squints up at the portal. Is it a monster? Bart leans forward eagerly. Is it a cool monster? The shadow pushes outward. For a heartbeat, the entire town freezes. Then the shape emerges. It is tall and vaguely humanoid, but unfinished, outlined in rough black strokes like an animation that was never fully inked. Its face is a blank smear, eyes sketched too high, mouth flickering in and out of existence. The air around it hums, not with slapstick sound effects, but with silence. Daffy opens his beak, ready to yelp mom. Nothing comes out. He blinks, startled. He tries again. Still, nothing. His voice is gone. Porky Pig gasps, hands flying to his mouth. He tries to speak. No stutter, no sound. The thing takes a step forward. Every step erases a little color from the ground beneath it. The sidewalk fades from bright gray to dull charcoal. Lisa's hands shake. It's suppressing tune logic. It's anti-comedy. Bugs Bunny steps forward, placing himself between the thing and the Simpsons. All right, pal, he says carefully. Crossover rules apply. You show up uninvited, you at least explain yourself. The thing tilts its head. For a brief moment, its face stabilizes, forming a jagged, unsettling smile. Then it speaks. Its voice is layered, overlapping, like multiple narrators fighting for control. Error. Unauthorized crossover detected. Tone. Inconsistency exceeds acceptable limits. Marge clutches Maggie. Lisa, what is it? Lisa swallows hard. I think it's a correction entity, something designed to prevent worlds like this from mixing. Homer frowns. So, the fun police? The entity turns its head toward Homer. Homer's shadow detaches from his feet. He screams. The shadow stretches, then snaps back into place as Bugs slams his carrot into the ground. Hey! Bugs snaps. No messing with the locals. The entity recoils slightly, as if surprised that something still works. Bugs straightens, confidence returning. Listen, Doc, you want to clean up the multiverse? That's your business. But you don't do it by flattening the punchline. The entity pauses. Lisa notices something critical. It's reacting to timing, she whispers. Not force, narrative timing. She grabs the Asami blueprint, scanning it rapidly. The stabilizer isn't a weapon, it's a rhythm regulator. If we restore comedic pacing, it loses coherence. Bart grins. So, we beat it with jokes? Very precise jokes, Lisa replies. Bugs smirks. My specialty. He snaps his fingers. Instantly, the Looney Tunes spring into action, not randomly, but in perfect sequence. Porky slips on a banana peel at the exact wrong moment. Sylvester crashes through the air, colliding with Daffy, whose voice suddenly returns mid-impact. You idiot! Hey, my voice is back! Yosemite Sam fires wildly, the bullets turning into confetti at the apex of their arc. Wile E. Coyote holds up a sign. This will probably fail. The entity staggers. Its outline wavers. Color bleeds back into the world. Lisa shouts, Now! Bart launches a slingshot, firing a cream pie directly into the entity's face. The pie lands. Splats. There is a beat. Then the entity's head inflates, eyes bulging comically. A loud honk echoes. The thing explodes into a cloud of misplaced sound effects and broken captions. Silence. Then, applause. Not from the characters, from the universe itself. The portal stabilizes, returning to its earlier swirling chaos. But now, it hums in a lighter key. Daffy brushes pie filling from his feathers. I hate to admit it, but that was beautifully timed. Bugs exhales. Woo, almost lost the laugh track there. Lisa stares at the sky, awed. We didn't destroy it. We edited it out. Marge helps Homer to his feet. Is it over? The ground rumbles softly. The portal shrinks slightly, but does not close. Bugs looks up, thoughtful. Nah, this ain't the end. Just the pilot episode. Homer brightens. So, they're staying? Bugs grins. Looks that way. The Looney Tunes gather around, surveying Springfield, the yellow houses, the imperfect logic, the oddly resilient people. Daffy spreads his wings. Well, folks, looks like this town just got a whole lot funnier. Lisa crosses her arms, determination burning in her eyes. Then we'll need rules, boundaries, scientific observation. Bugs pats her head. Kid, in our world, rules are optional. The portal flickers one last time, settling into a stable, glowing tear in the sky, no longer violent, but permanent. Springfield is no longer just Springfield. It is a crossroads. The camera pulls back. The sun sets, casting long shadows that bounce slightly when they stretch. Somewhere in the distance, an Asami rocket misfires. Homer laughs. And reality, finally accepting the joke, laughs with him. Morning arrives in Springfield. Not gently. The sun rises with a bowing, stretching slightly before snapping into place. Birds chirp in exaggerated harmonies, one of them briefly holding a tiny conductor's baton before being smacked out of frame by another bird. Springfield has survived the night. Barely. Evergreen Terrace is a patchwork of normalcy and nonsense. Half the houses look unchanged. The other half lean at questionable angles, as if gravity is now more of a suggestion than a law. A stop sign spins lazily in the air before settling back onto its pole, which bends, sighs, and straightens. Homer steps outside, squinting at the sky. Huh, he mutters. Still here. Behind him, Bugs Bunny lounges on the Simpsons roof, sipping orange juice from a glass labeled, "Not a prop." "Morning, sunshine," Bugs says. "Sleep tight." Homer blinks. Why are you on my house? Bugs peers over the edge. Why not? Down the street, chaos resumes its schedule. Daffy Duck marches out of Moe's tavern wearing an apron and a smug grin. A hand-painted sign hangs above the door. Moe's Tavern. Temporarily under new management. Moe stands behind him, arms crossed, scowling. I let the duck cook one breakfast and now he thinks he owns the joint. Daffy gestures grandly. Gentlemen, welcome to the dawn of refined entertainment. Also, eggs are now optional. Inside, Barney is stuck to the ceiling, held there by pancake syrup. Chief Wiggum strolls past, sipping coffee, barely reacting. Seen worse. At Springfield Elementary, the bell rings, then stretches into a musical trill, echoing across the playground. Bart skids to a stop at the gates, eyes wide. This, he whispers, is the best field trip ever. The schoolyard is unrecognizable. Tasmanian Devil spins in tight circles near the swings, creating a miniature tornado that launches dodgeballs into low orbit. Milhouse is clinging to a flagpole, screaming happily. Best recess ever! Tweety flutters above the jungle gym, narrating the chaos. I taught organized education. Sylvester rockets past him, slamming into the school wall and leaving a perfect chalk outline of his body. Skinner bursts out of the school doors, clipboard in hand. What is the meaning of this? He stops, staring at Bugs Bunny, who is calmly erasing the school sign and rewriting it as Springfield Acme Academy. Skinner twitches. Seymour Skinner, principal. Bugs tips his ears. Bugs Bunny, temporary curriculum consultant. Lisa arrives moments later, notebook already filled with diagrams. Her eyes sparkle with fascination and concern. The Toon influence is spreading socially now, she mutters. Not just physically. Inside the school, classrooms bend and stretch to accommodate chaos. Porky Pig stands at the chalkboard, trying to teach math. 3 plus the chalk explodes into fireworks. The class applauds. Ralph raises his hand. The numbers are loud. Meanwhile, Wile E. Coyote stalks the hallways, laying elaborate traps for the bell. Every time it rings, he lunges. Every time it escapes. A sign drops from the ceiling. You can't catch schedules. Back in town, Springfield is adjusting. Or trying to. Apu stands outside the Quickie Mart, staring as Roadrunner zips in and out of the store, grabbing items at impossible speed and leaving exact change behind. Thank you. Come again, Apu calls instinctively, though he has no idea to whom. Mayor Quimby holds an emergency press conference. This town has always welcomed colorful individuals, he says, sweating. But the duck has taken over the bar. The rabbit is rewriting zoning laws, and the coyote just tried to order explosives with a school voucher. Behind him, Wile E. Coyote gives a thumbs up. At the power plant, Mr. Burns watches the Looney Tunes through binoculars. Fascinating, he murmurs. Creatures immune to injury, logic, and labor laws. Smithers hesitates. Sir, they don't obey physics. Burns smiles. Excellent. Promote them. Inside the plant, Homer has been reassigned. He now works alongside Yosemite Sam, who treats the control room like a cannon range. Stand back, yellow fella, Sam bellows. I'll wrangle this reactor. Lisa bursts in. Dad, get away from him. Too late. Sam fires into the control panel. Alarms blare. The reactor glows. Then the alarms transform into musical notes. The reactor sings. Homer wipes sweat from his brow. I hate it when the plant gets jazzy. Back on Evergreen Terrace, Marge attempts to restore normalcy. She hangs laundry. The clothes leap off the line and dance. She sighs deeply. One day, I just want one normal day. Bugs Bunny appears beside her, holding a teacup. Normal's overrated, sister. Marge pauses. Do you all have to stay? Bugs looks out over the town. Its chaos, its resilience, its strange harmony. For now, he says gently, this place needs us. Above them, the portal hums steadily, no longer threatening, but alive. Springfield is no longer reacting. It is participating, and the madness is just getting started. By midday, Springfield has stopped asking why. The town has moved on to a more practical question. How do you live with cartoons? The answer, it turns out, is poorly, but enthusiastically. On Main Street, AC Me products have appeared seemingly overnight. Crates line the sidewalks, stacked neatly beside fire hydrants and parking meters. Each one hums faintly, vibrating with pent-up inevitability. Comic book guy emerges from his store, eyes glittering with awe. Worst intellectual property violation ever, he mutters, before immediately dragging a crate inside and slapping a price tag on it. Inside Moe's Tavern, Daffy Duck has reorganized everything. The lights are brighter, the jukebox plays dramatic overtures instead of classic rock. A stage has been erected where a dartboard used to be. Ladies and gentlemen, Daffy announces, bowing, prepare yourselves for class. Moe leans on the bar. Kid, this is a dive. Daffy gasps theatrically. Was? He snaps his fingers. The floor collapses, then reappears, with red carpet. Barney falls through it anyway. Outside, Homer walks past, carrying a box labeled Acme Donut Enhancers. He shakes it. It rattles ominously. Lisa jogs alongside him. Dad, you cannot use experimental cartoon technology for food production. Homer frowns, but it says, guaranteed satisfaction. They pass Krusty the Clown, who is watching Bugs Bunny direct a crowd outside the Krusty Burger. Bugs stands on a crate, megaphone in hand. All right, folks, listen up. This ain't fast food no more. It's fast timing. Behind him, hamburgers leap from grills, assemble themselves midair, and land perfectly wrapped. Krusty wipes a tear from his eye. He's a natural. At Springfield Elementary, classes have devolved into organized chaos. Miss Hoover attempts to lecture while dodging falling props. And so the Industrial Revolution, a falling anvil, narrowly misses her desk, was very impactful. In the music room, Lisa watches in amazement as Porky Pig conducts the band. Every missed note produces a harmless explosion of confetti. This is impossible, she murmurs. They're turning disorder into structure. Bart slides into the room. Nah, they're just making school fun. Out in the hallway, Skinner and Superintendent Chalmers march toward each other, each stepping over banana peels without slipping. Yet, Skinner, Chalmers snaps, explain why there is a coyote wiring explosives into your PA system. Skinner gestures weakly. Innovative teaching methods? The explosives go off. The PA announces, dismissed. Everyone cheers. Meanwhile, at the Quick E-Mart, Apu negotiates with Yosemite Sam. I'm sorry, sir, but firearms are not refundable. Sam slams the counter. Consarn it! They misfire into flowers. The guns erupt into bouquets. Apu smiles nervously. No receipt. No return. Across town, Mr. Burns has invited Wile E. Coyote for tea. Burns studies him intently. You fail spectacularly, yet persist endlessly. You are the ideal employee. Wile E. Coyote considers this. He holds up a sign. Salary? Burns smiles thinly. Exposure. The sign changes. No. Back on Evergreen Terrace, Marge hosts an impromptu neighborhood meeting. Ned Flanders, wrapped in bandages, raises his hand. I don't mean to be a downer diddly, but the whirlwind gentleman ate my garage. Tasmanian Devil burps politely. Marge nods. We need ground rules. Bugs Bunny lounges on a lawn chair. Sure thing. Rule 1. If it's funny, it's allowed. Lisa interjects. That's not a rule. That's an aesthetic principle. Exactly. The portal pulses gently overhead, responding to laughter, chaos, and perfectly timed pratfalls. Lisa notices. The portal is feeding on engagement. The more Springfield interacts, the more stable the crossover becomes. Bart grins. So we're stuck with them? Bugs smiles. Looks like it. Suddenly, a loud whistle echoes. Roadrunner streaks through Evergreen Terrace, chased by Wile E. Coyote riding a rocket-powered skateboard. They tear through the meeting, leaving everyone with hair blown back. Marge sighs. We were talking. Homer returns home, carrying a massive donut that orbits him slowly. Marge. The enhancer works. The donut collapses into his mouth. Lisa rubs her temples. This is unsustainable. Bugs tilts his head. Kid, Springfield's been unsustainable for decades. The ground trembles lightly. The portal flickers. Just once. Lisa stiffens. Something's changing. Far away, in the quietest part of town, the color drains subtly from the air. A familiar hum returns, but distorted. Not slapstick. Not friendly. Bugs. Bunny's ears twitch. Oh no, he mutters. Not again. The laughter across Springfield continues. Unaware. For now. By late afternoon, Springfield no longer resembles a town. It resembles a set. The sky above flickers between soft pastel gradients and painted backdrops of clouds that loop every few minutes. The sun briefly pauses in midair, rewinds a few inches, then continues its descent as if unsure which timing feels funnier. Lisa stands in the middle of Main Street, spinning slowly, notebook clutched to her chest. This is escalation, she says quietly. The longer the crossover lasts, the more Springfield is being redrawn to accommodate cartoon logic. Behind her, a lamppost bows politely to Bugs Bunny as he walks past. Good manners never go out of style, Bugs says, tipping an imaginary hat. At the power plant, Homer and Yosemite Sam have formed an unlikely partnership. Sam treats every lever like a detonator. Homer treats every alarm like a suggestion. You pull that one, Sam says. I'll shoot this one. The reactor hiccups. Instead of radiation, balloons float out of a vent. Homer laughs. See? Totally safe. Lisa bursts in again. Dad, you're normalizing catastrophic failure. Sam squints at her. I like this kid. She yells with purpose. At Springfield Elementary, the playground has become a battlefield of pranks. Bart rides atop Tasmanian Devil like a living tornado, screaming with joy as they spin through the sandbox. Higher! Faster! Milhouse watches from behind a tree, holding a helmet 3 sizes too big. This is how I die, he whispers, smiling. Nearby, Tweety and Maggie sit together in a cardboard box, playing a silent game of peekaboo. Sylvester watches from a distance, twitching with internal conflict. I can't, he mutters. She's a baby. His stomach growls. He chases a butterfly instead. Marge tries to grocery shop. Inside the Quickie Mart, aisles bend into loops. She walks past the cereal 3 times before realizing she hasn't moved. Why is everything so busy? She asks. Apu smiles politely while a cash register clones itself behind him. Efficiency. Back at Moe's Tavern, Daffy has scheduled auditions. A line of Springfield citizens waits nervously. Next, Daffy shouts. Lenny steps forward, attempts a joke, slips on a banana peel, crashes through the stage, and lands perfectly inside a spotlight. The crowd roars. Daffy gasps. Natural talent. Moe groans. I can't believe this works. Across town, Mr. Burns unveils a plan. He stands before a chalkboard labeled Project, Immortal, Slapstick. Imagine it. Burns whispers. An entire workforce that cannot be injured, unionize, or die. Smithers hesitates. Sir, they explode for fun. Burns smiles wider. Excellent morale. Meanwhile, Lisa gathers data. She tracks patterns, where slapstick intensifies, where color drains, where time stutters. She notices something troubling. The laughter is uneven. In places with pure chaos, the world brightens. In quiet corners, alleys, basements, unused rooms, something else creeps in. The air there feels heavy, unfinished. She feels it near the old tire fire, near the abandoned warehouse, near the portal. Lisa approaches Bugs Bunny, who is watching Bart attempt to skateboard off the church roof. This can't last, Lisa says. Springfield isn't built for infinite exaggeration. Bugs nods. Yeah, neither are we. She looks at him sharply. You knew this would happen. Bugs doesn't deny it. Crossovers always start as a party, then the bill comes due. Suddenly, a record scratch cuts through the town. Everything freezes. Bart hangs mid-air. A donut pauses inches from Homer's mouth. Daffy's dramatic pose locks in place. Only Lisa and Bugs can move. The portal pulses. Once. Twice. The air darkens. A ripple passes through Springfield like a skipped frame. Bugs exhales slowly. That's bad. Lisa whispers, the timing is breaking. From the shadows between buildings, something stirs. Not the correction entity from before. This feels hungrier. The freeze releases. Everything snaps back into motion, but offbeat. Jokes land late. Falls don't bounce correctly. Sound effects arrive half a second too slow. Homer slips. Doesn't pop back up. He groans, confused. Ow! Why did that hurt? Bugs' smile fades. That's the line, he says quietly. That's where this stops being funny. Lisa's heart pounds. The worlds are desynchronizing. The portal flares brighter, then dims. Springfield laughs, but the laughter is strained. Somewhere, unseen, the madness begins to cost something. As evening settles over Springfield, the laughter doesn't stop. It echoes. Jokes repeat themselves in the air, bouncing off buildings long after the punchlines have passed. A rim shot plays somewhere with no drummer. A laugh track triggers without warning, then cuts off mid-chuckle, as if embarrassed. Lisa feels it in her bones. This isn't harmony anymore, she says, standing beside the glowing portal. It's feedback. Bugs. Bunny sits cross-legged on the curb, unusually quiet. Yeah, when the laughs stop meaning something, the universe starts taking notes. Across town, the consequences begin to show. At Moe's Tavern, a bar stool finally breaks and doesn't reassemble. Lenny stares at the splintered wood unsettled. That never happens. Daffy laughs too loudly. Relax, it's called realism, very edgy. But even he looks nervous. At the power plant, the reactor hums wrong. The musical notes have faded. The alarms sound flat. Sam fires his pistols. Nothing turns into flowers. Consarn it, Sam mutters. Where's the fun? Homer rubs his arm, where he slipped earlier. A bruise is forming. Lisa, he calls weakly. I think my pain slider moved. Springfield Elementary empties under a distorted sunset. Shadows stretch too far. The bell rings once, then rings again half a second late. Bart notices first. Hey, he says, frowning. Why does everything feel laggy? The Looney Tunes feel it too. Sylvester trips and stays down for a beat too long. Tweety gasps. That wasn't funny. Wile E. Coyote sets a trap. It doesn't fail creatively. It simply doesn't work. He stares at it, horrified. A sign appears in his hands, without him summoning it. Oh no! Lisa gathers the town at Evergreen Terrace. For once, people listen. We've been treating this like a vacation from logic, she says, but two narrative systems can't run at full capacity forever. Bugs stands beside her. Kid's right, we bend reality, but we don't break it. Not for long. Marge looks around at the town she's tried so hard to hold together. So what do we do? The portal answers with a low groan. Inside it, the bright swirling colors begin to fragment, splitting into panels, looping, overlapping. Springfield flickers inside it now. The worlds are bleeding both ways. Lisa points. If this continues, neither universe will be stable. The jokes will stop landing. The pain will start sticking. Bart swallows. So, no more pranks? Bugs ruffles his hair. Still pranks. Just better timed. Suddenly, the portal pulses violently. A shockwave ripples outward, knocking everyone back. For a moment, the entire town becomes sketchy. Rough pencil lines replacing solid forms. Color drains. Sound dulls. Then it snaps back. Chief Wiggum groans. I definitely felt that. Lisa steadies herself. This is it. The system is overloaded. Bugs looks up at the portal, jaw set, which means we gotta pick our moments. Daffy flaps forward, unusually serious. You're saying less chaos? Bugs nods. Smarter chaos. The Looney Tunes exchange looks. Even Tasmanian Devil slows his spin, tilting his head. Marge steps forward. Springfield has survived aliens, time travel, and whatever Mr. Burns is, we can handle. Moderation. Homer nods solemnly. I can cut back. Everyone stares at him. A little. The portal calms slightly, responding to the shift in tone. Lisa exhales. We need structure, events, places where toon logic is allowed, and places where it isn't. Bugs grins. A town with punchlines and boundaries. That's new. The sky darkens fully now. Street lights flick on, one of them flickering into a spotlight for half a second before correcting itself. Springfield settles into an uneasy equilibrium. The madness hasn't ended. It's been contained. For now. As the crowd disperses, Bugs lingers beside Lisa. You're good at this, he says. Most worlds just laugh until they tear. Lisa smiles faintly. Someone has to think about tomorrow. High above them, unseen, something shifts within the portal. Not a threat. Not yet. But a reminder. Crossovers are never free. The camera pulls back over Springfield. Half normal, half toon. Glowing under a sky that can't decide how real it wants to be. The town sleeps. The portal watches. And the madness waits for its next cue. Springfield doesn't wake up to madness. It schedules it. Hand-painted posters appear overnight on telephone poles, storefronts, and one confused cow wandering near the highway. Welcome to the first annual Springfield Toon Fest, featuring guest performers from somewhere else entirely. By mid-morning, the town square has been transformed. Bleachers rise where the statue of Jebediah Springfield once stood, now wearing rabbit ears and holding a mallet labeled Symbolism. Colorful banners snap in the breeze, some hand-drawn, some animating themselves when no one is looking. Lisa stands near City Hall, clipboard in hand, watching the setup with cautious optimism. This is organized, she says. That's new. Bugs Bunny pops up beside her, leaning casually against a lamppost that bows under his weight. Told ya. Give folks rules. They make better jokes. Mayor Quimby approaches the microphone, already sweating. Citizens of Springfield, today we celebrate cultural exchange. The microphone squeaks. Daffy Duck shoves him aside. Ladies, gentlemen, and legally ambiguous creatures, welcome to a spectacle of taste. Fireworks explode behind him. One spells bang, another spells oops. The crowd cheers. The first event begins immediately. The Toon Olympics. Homer is strapped into a helmet far too small for his head, standing beside Bugs Bunny at the starting line of the Acme Anvil toss. "Remember," Bugs says, "distance and comedic timing." Homer nods solemnly. "I trained my whole life for this." He throws. The anvil drops straight down, flattening him. A beat. Homer pops back up, arms raised. The crowd roars. Across the field, Bart competes in extreme slingshot tag with Daffy Duck. Rules are unclear. That seems intentional. They sprint through inflatable obstacles that squeak loudly, launching pies, paint, and the occasional spring-loaded boxing glove. Bart laughs so hard, he nearly misses his landing. This beats to tension. Nearby, Marge runs the safe zone, a clearly marked area where slapstick is limited to mild pratfalls and polite honking noises. Ned Flanders volunteers enthusiastically. "Well, diddly darn, this feels regulated." Behind him, Tasmanian Devil eats the rule sign. Lisa scans her instruments. The portal's activity is spiking, she notes, but it's balanced, like a feedback loop with a governor. Bugs nods. "Told ya, comedy's a science." At the Springfield Raceway, Wile E. Coyote unveils his grand event, the Roadrunner Relay. The track stretches impossibly long, looping back on itself through painted tunnels and real buildings. Roadrunner stands at the line, tapping his foot impatiently. Wile E. Coyote checks his stopwatch. Meep meep. The race is over. The audience blinks. Wile E. Coyote slowly lowers his watch. A sign appears in his hands. "Still counts." At Moe's Tavern, now rebranded as MOE's and CO. Variety Hall, Daffy hosts a legal dispute event. Today's case, Daffy declares, Daffy Duck versus Krusty the Clown. Who is funnier? The jury is made entirely of mirrors. Moe pours drinks, muttering, "This town's lost its mind." Outside, Mr. Burns unveils his own attraction, the Immortality Experience. Employees wear protective gear and are launched from catapults, crushed by safes, and flattened by steamrollers, only to pop back up unharmed. Smithers looks ill. "Sir, this feels unethical." Burns beams. "Nonsense. It's interactive." Lisa rushes over. "You cannot commercialize invulnerability." Burns chuckles. "Already did." The sun reaches its peak. The portal hums louder than ever, but stable, glowing like a halo over the town square. Springfield is no longer half-tune. It's hosting. The crowd swells as the final event of the day approaches. A massive stage rises in the center of town. Bugs Bunny steps up to the microphone. "All right, folks," he says, grinning. "Time for the big one." Behind him, the curtain lifts. The ultimate mashup show. Every character, Springfield resident and Looney Tune alike, takes their place. The orchestra tunes up. The audience leans forward. Lisa feels a twinge of worry. "This is a lot of narrative energy in one place," she whispers. Bugs winks. "That's showbiz." The lights go out. The show begins, and Springfield commits fully to the crossover. The stage explodes into motion. Spotlights snap on and off in perfect rhythm, sweeping across the crowd as the orchestra strikes its first note, a brassy, overconfident fanfare that somehow sounds both orchestral and slapstick at the same time. The curtain rises. Bugs Bunny strides center stage in a tuxedo that redraws itself with every step. "Ladies and gentlemen," he announces, "please keep your arms, legs, and sense of reality inside the performance at all times." The audience cheers. Behind him, the backdrop shifts. Springfield skyline morphing into a painted desert, then into the nuclear plant, then into an abstract swirl of color. The transitions are seamless, too seamless. Lisa watches closely from the control booth she has set up beside City Hall, fingers flying across her instruments. The pacing is accelerating, she mutters. They're stacking set pieces without cooldown. On stage, the opening number begins. Homer and Daffy burst through opposite sides of the stage, locked in an exaggerated rivalry. Each tries to outdo the other. Bigger pratfalls, louder reactions, longer pauses before popping back up. Homer slips on a banana peel. Daffy slips on the same banana peel. They glare at each other from the floor. Both leap up at once. The crowd laughs, but not all at the same time. The laugh ripples unevenly, like applause echoing off a canyon wall. Bart joins in next, zipping across the stage on a skateboard powered by rocket boosters. He launches over the orchestra pit, lands behind Bugs, and throws up a peace sign. This rules! The orchestra crescendos. The backdrop snaps into the interior of Springfield Elementary. Skinner appears, chased by Sylvester, who crashes through a chalkboard labeled Discipline. Miss Hoover sighs and keeps playing the piano. The audience roars. Lisa frowns. That transition skipped 3 narrative beats when Bugs, still smiling, feels it too. His ears twitch slightly off rhythm. The next act rolls in without pause. The Great Slapstick Symphony. Porky Pig conducts the Springfield Philharmonic. Every baton stroke triggers visual gags. Tubas inflate. Violins snap back like rubber bands. Cymbals swallow percussionists and spit them out polished. It's brilliant. Too brilliant. Behind the scenes, the portal brightens, pulsing in time with the music. Lisa's instruments spike. The portal's sinking to the performance, she warns. It's feeding on the escalation. On stage, Wile E. Coyote unveils his masterpiece. A towering Rube Goldberg contraption fills the stage. Ramps, pulleys, rockets, anvils, and one suspiciously unstable piano suspended above everything. He pulls a lever. Nothing happens. He blinks. Then everything happens at once. The machine triggers in reverse, forward, sideways, and briefly upside down. Anvils fall upward. Rockets chase each other. The piano lands on nothing, then crashes anyway. Roadrunner streaks through the chaos, unharmed. Meep, meep. The audience laughs. Hard. But the laughter comes late. The sound effect follows half a second after the visual. Lisa's heart sinks. They're losing sync. The final act approaches. Daffy steps forward, breathing hard, feathers disheveled. For my grand finale, he declares, I present the greatest joke ever told. The lights dim. The stage empties. The silence stretches. Too long. Daffy grins nervously. The portal flickers. Lisa shouts, No, you can't hold the beat that long. Daffy snaps his fingers. Nothing happens. The audience shifts uncomfortably. Then, belatedly, a pie drops from the ceiling and smacks Daffy in the face. The laugh track triggers before the impact. The crowd laughs, then stops. Confusion ripples through the square. Bugs steps forward quickly. All right, folks, how about a little audience participation? He snaps his fingers. The crowd responds automatically, clapping, cheering, restoring the rhythm. The portal stabilizes slightly. Bugs exhales. Close one. But the show isn't done. Mr. Burns rises from a VIP box. Release the finale, he commands. Smithers hesitates. Sir, this wasn't approved. The finale triggers anyway. Dozens of Assamee crates rain down onto the stage, bursting open to release fireworks, confetti, and spring-loaded everything. The spectacle is overwhelming. Beautiful. Dangerous. Lisa's instruments scream warnings. This is exceeding capacity. Springfield can't process this much narrative density. On stage, Homer laughs wildly as he's launched from a cannon into a pile of pies. This is the best day of my life. But when he lands, he doesn't bounce immediately. A split second passes, then another. Homer groans. Ow! Why did that hurt again? Bugs freezes. The laughter falters. The portal dims. A low hum returns, not playful, not musical. The sky above the stage darkens. Lisa whispers, terrified, "We've crossed the threshold." The show was meant to celebrate the mashup. Instead, it has strained it. And Springfield, cheering, clapping, unaware, has just asked the universe for more than it can safely give. The sky cracks. Not literally, but almost. The colors overhead twist violently, looping like a broken film reel. 1 second the sun is a soft yellow. The next it's a glaring neon orange with black outlines that jiggle unnaturally. Shadows stretch and shrink independently of their objects. Lisa grips her clipboard, eyes wide. The portal. It's reacting to the climax of the performance. All that energy, comedy, chaos, and emotional beats, it's feeding the interdimensional feedback. Bugs Bunny, standing center stage amidst the wreckage of stage props and ACME crates, tilts his head. "I don't like this," he mutters. "Comedy's supposed to tickle, not destabilize reality." Behind them, Wile E. Coyote's Rube Goldberg machine shudders. A spring shoots out and launches a piano into the audience, but it stretches and twists midair like a rubber band before landing safely atop the square's fountain. Homer, still laughing, suddenly freezes mid-cheer. He blinks, his body seems wrong. DOH, he groans. Something feels off. Bart races across the stage on his rocket skateboard, narrowly dodging a falling anvil. "Dad!" he yells. "You're Homer looks down at his arm, which is bending and stretching in a way that isn't funny anymore. It wobbles like a badly drawn cartoon limb. Lisa gasps. He's starting to feel the consequences. The worlds are desynchronizing. Comedic physics and real physics are colliding. Bugs Bunny's ears droop. Yeah, that's the line we were warned about. Suddenly, the portal flares violently, brighter than ever. The hum turns into a grating, warbling tone that echoes across the town square. The audience freezes mid-cheer. Fireworks hang suspended in the air. Confetti drifts upward, defying gravity. From the portal, a shadow emerges. Not the correction entity from before. This is something bigger, harder to define. It isn't bouncing. It isn't squashing. It simply exists, stretching like a silhouette over Springfield. Lisa backs away. It's responding to the overload. It doesn't want the crossover to continue. It's enforcing balance. Bugs. Bunny's grin vanishes. That's bad. That's really bad. Daffy Duck stumbles forward, flapping frantically. I say we improvise. Improvise. Roadrunner streaks past, meeping, narrowly avoiding an exploding confetti cannon. Wile E. Coyote's traps misfire. Sylvester slips on the stage, only to collide mid-air with a floating anvil. The portal's hum becomes a roar. Lisa shouts over the noise, trying to be heard. We have to stabilize the narrative rhythm. If it collapses, Springfield and the Looney Tunes could be permanently altered. Bugs Bunny nods. Right, we sync the timing. Everyone move to, controlled chaos. Controlled chaos. It sounds ridiculous. But somehow, the town begins to obey. Springfield citizens instinctively adapt. Lenny and Carl form a human ladder to help Daffy reach a stuck confetti cannon. Marge gathers stray props into organized piles. Milhouse grabs a clipboard and starts mapping safe zones, while Tasmanian Devil spins carefully around him, avoiding destruction. On stage, Homer and Bart coordinate their movements perfectly with the Looney Tunes. Every pratfall, every pie, every banana peel lands on cue. Even Wile E. Coyote's Rube Goldberg machine begins to function smoothly, albeit ridiculously. Lisa monitors the portal. The colors are stabilizing, the hum softening, but the shadow remains. It's waiting, patient, reminding everyone that the consequences aren't gone. Bugs. Bunny raises a carrot like a conductor's baton. All right, folks, let's give the portal a show it'll never forget. Synchronized Chaos Edition. The town explodes into motion. Homer launches himself from a cannon, spins midair, and lands on a trampoline that launches him again, this time hitting Daffy with perfect timing. The audience, both human and cartoon, laughs in unison. The sound ripples across Springfield, harmonizing the universes. Bart zips along wires like tightropes, tossing pies to matching beats. The pies land exactly on target, creating a rhythm the portal seems to recognize. Porky Pig conducts the orchestra again. Every offbeat note resolves perfectly. Cymbals crash in sync with explosions, fireworks, and pratfalls. Even Roadrunner's streaks trace perfectly timed arcs across the sky. Lisa watches, amazed. It's working. The synchronization is restoring stability. Bugs. Bunny's grin returns. That's my kind of physics. For a moment, it feels like triumph. Then the shadow stirs. It stretches further across Springfield. Darker, looming. Its presence is felt rather than seen. The portal pulses. A section of the town flickers like a broken cell. Homer's arm suddenly snaps out of cartoon elasticity, then snaps back. Bart wobbles midair. A giant anvil freezes halfway to the ground. Lisa shouts, "We've pushed it too far. The crossover energy is peaking. We need a finale now." Bugs Bunny nods. Right, everyone, final act. The Looney Tunes spring into position. The Springfield residents follow, instinctively timing themselves with every gag, leap, and explosion. Homer, armed with a giant pie, slides into Daffy, who spins into Bugs. The collision triggers a chain reaction. Pies, confetti, fireworks, anvils, and a perfectly timed Acme rocket spiral through the square in choreographed chaos. The audience erupts, human and cartoon alike, in unified laughter. The portal stabilizes. The shadow hesitates. Lisa holds her breath. Almost. There. Bugs Bunny taps his foot. One more synchronized beat, and we'll hold the line. Homer bounces from a trampoline, launching into the air. Bart shoots across on his rocket skateboard. Daffy spins mid-flap. Tasmanian Devil loops around the square, swallowing and spitting out confetti in rhythm. The final beat hits. The portal glows. The shadow recoils. Colors stabilize. Gravity, time, and logic snap back into alignment. Springfield stands, exhausted, battered, and elated. Lisa exhales. We did it, but just barely. Bugs Bunny tips his hat. Yep, shows what happens when you mix too much cartoon with too much real life. Homer wipes cream from his face. I like that. Bart grins. Best day ever. From above, the portal hums a gentle tune, now calm and steady. The shadow retreats into the depths, watching, but no longer threatening. Springfield is alive, different, loony, stable, for now. The town square begins to quiet. Not entirely, of course. Even after the grand finale, pie crumbs float lazily in the air. Confetti drifts downward like multicolored snow. A stray Acme rocket spins harmlessly overhead, still whistling. But the chaos is purposeful now. It has structure. It has rhythm. Springfield residents mill about, exhausted but thrilled. Bart high-fives Tasmanian Devil mid-spin. Homer and Daffy collapse together in a heap of flour, pie-filling, and laughter. Marge brushes imaginary dust off her apron, frowning at a bouncing lamppost. Lisa, clipboard in hand, begins cataloging the aftermath. The temporal and narrative fluctuations have stabilized, she reports. The town has essentially learned to dance with the crossover. Bugs. Bunny leans against a bent streetlight, surveying the scene. Kid's right. They finally get it. Comedy's a collaborative sport. Across the square, Moe shakes his head. wiping off sticky confetti. I don't know what just happened, but somehow my bar made sense for once. Daffy Duck pirouettes nearby, still spinning slightly from the finale. This is perfection. The audience, the timing, the chaos. I have never felt more fulfilled. Homer groans. I feel full too, mostly of pie. Suddenly, a crowd gathers around the Springfield Elementary playground. Bart is perched atop a seesaw with Roadrunner poised on the other end. Ready, buddy? Bart grins. Meep, meep. The seesaw launches them both into a perfect arc over the playground, landing safely amidst a soft pile of balloons. Milhouse cheers. Lisa shakes her head, a small smile creeping onto her face. I have to admit, it's working. Everyone's participating in a controlled narrative flow, almost instinctively. Meanwhile, Mr. Burns watches from the VIP box, arms crossed. Remarkable, he murmurs, a workforce capable of regenerating from disaster and performing slapstick with precision. The potential... Smithers leans in nervously. Sir, you do realize the portal could still fluctuate unpredictably, yes? Burns doesn't answer. He's already imagining an immortal, indestructible loony workforce running the plant. Outside the square, the Looney Tunes mingle with Springfield residents. Tweety flits between Lisa and Maggie, who giggles uncontrollably. I think she likes her, Lisa observes. Sylvester slinks along, carefully avoiding the pies and trampolines. He pauses, eyeing Maggie with a soft, almost hesitant expression. Yosemite Sam barks directions at Chief Wiggum, teaching him how to aim rubber band cannons for maximum hilarity efficiency. Even Ned Flanders gets in on the action, teaming up with Porky Pig to help organize a line of children for a perfectly timed domino run, made entirely of school desks, books, and harmless anvils. Bugs. Bunny hops over to Lisa. See what I mean? Everyone's finally in sync. Chaos has rules now, and rules are funny when you know how to bend them. Lisa nods. I suppose, but the portal... Before she can finish, it pulses gently above the town, calm but alive. A soft melodic hum resonates across Springfield. Homer squints up. Hey, is it nappin'? Bugs snorts. Not exactly. Think of it like it's listening, watching, waiting for the next cue. As long as we respect the rhythm, it stays happy. Daffy Duck jumps onto a crate, flapping his wings dramatically. Well, I say we celebrate. Springfield, Looney Tunes, and all those deliciously unpredictable variables in between. The crowd cheers. And so the celebration begins. Music fills the square, a blend of Springfield's awkward charm and the Looney Tunes' slapstick flair. Homer and Bart lead a conga line, weaving between bouncing anvils and floating donuts. Marge joins reluctantly, tugging Maggie along, while Lisa carefully notes the timing of each gag for future study. On the main stage, Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck conduct a miniature performance, a mix of orchestral flourishes and visual gags. Balloons float in rhythm with cymbals. Pies arc perfectly through the air. Roadrunner performs synchronized loops above the crowd. Wile E. Coyote stands nearby, holding a sign. I think I like this version of chaos. Even Mr. Burns, finally relaxing slightly, watches from the VIP box with a bemused expression. Fascinating, he murmurs. Perhaps there is merit in controlled nonsense. Lisa steps aside for a moment, watching the interactions. Homer laughing with Daffy, Bart racing Roadrunner, Marge politely dodging bouncing props, Ned coordinating chaos with Porky Pig. For the first time, Springfield isn't reacting to the Looney Tunes. Springfield is embracing them. The portal hums gently overhead. Its colors swirl softly, reflecting the laughter below. Lisa smiles faintly. It's balanced. For now. Bugs Bunny leans against the railing of the stage, looking out over the town. This is a lesson, kid. Worlds can collide. Chaos can exist, but only if everyone plays their part. Homer pops a giant donut into his mouth. And that part is fun. Bart grins, kicking a pie into the sky. Best day ever. The shadows of the portal stretch lightly, almost like a sigh of approval. Lisa scribbles one last note in her notebook. Springfield is learning to coexist with the Looney Tunes, but the balance is delicate. Too much excitement, too much chaos, and she trails off, looking up at the swirling portal. Bugs. Bunny places a reassuring hand on her shoulder. Relax, kid. You survived Act 1. The town learned the dance. The portal's happy. And for today. He pauses, glancing at the square filled with laughter, pies, trampolines, and spinning anvils. It's perfect. The sun sets over Springfield, turning the sky into a gradient of warm pastels. Light reflects off the floating pies, bouncing trampolines, and spinning confetti in a surreal symphony of color. For a moment, the town stands still, taking in the view. Then, inevitably, someone trips on a banana peel. A perfect, unplanned, beautifully timed laugh echoes across the square. And Springfield, loony, human, absurd, alive, laughs with it. The portal hums one last melodic note for the evening, settling gently above the town. The Looney Tunes mingle with their new home, the Springfield citizens fully embracing their bizarre new reality. And as night falls, the town sleeps, exhausted, happy, and ready for whatever the crossover decides to throw at them next. Morning rises differently in Springfield now. Not brighter, not darker, just weirdly alive. The sunlight stretches and snaps in rhythm with a distant laugh track. Birds chirp in cartoonish staccato, but every note is faintly offset from reality. Sidewalks ripple like they're breathing. Even the trees sway to some internal comedic meter. Homer emerges from the house first, bleary-eyed, and immediately trips on a perfectly placed banana peel. He flips, lands on his stomach, and pops back up, grinning. Banana-flavored mornings, he declares. Bugs Bunny lounges on the porch railing, munching a carrot. Morning, Homer. You're late for your family bonding exercise. Homer blinks. Family? Bonding? Lisa steps out, notebook in hand, already scribbling observations. This isn't a typical Springfield morning. The Looney Tunes' influence is highest now. Personal interactions, emotional engagement. That's when narrative synchronization is most fragile. Bugs hums. Translation. The chaos hits closest to home today. Meanwhile, Marge steps onto the porch, wringing her hands nervously. I just want one normal day with my family, she mutters. Is that too much to ask? Bart skates past, zipped on a rocket board, and collides with Daffy Duck midair. They crash into the mailbox, bounce, and land in a heap. Hey, Bart laughs. You're kind of fun when you're chaotic. Daffy spits out confetti. I am chaos, he declares, puffing his chest. But organized chaos is art. Marge shakes her head. I don't even know what that means. Inside the house, Maggie crawls toward Tweety, who flits delicately across the living room. The baby gurgles happily, fascinated by the little yellow bird's floating movements. Lisa observes quietly. Even the infants are affected. The crossover isn't just external, it's emotional, relational. It's changing how families interact. Homer wanders into the kitchen, where Yosemite Sam is attempting to fry pancakes with dynamite. Dad? Lisa asks, alarmed. You can't. Boom! The pancakes fly into the air, land perfectly on plates across the room. Homer grins through syrup. Delicious and exciting. Bugs Bunny appears, balancing a teacup on his nose. This is why you need boundaries. Chaos is fun, but personal space, priceless. Outside, Bart drags Daffy into a field behind the house. "We're gonna test your skills," he shouts. Daffy spins, hopping across rocks, pies in hand, dodging invisible lasers. Impressive agility. Lisa shakes her head, scribbling frantically. They're mimicking family dynamics. It's fascinating and dangerous. The stronger the emotional connection, the greater the narrative energy produced. If they get too close, the portal could destabilize. Marge sighs, stepping into the yard. "Can we maybe just have breakfast first?" Homer, holding a pie upside down, waves a hand. Breakfast is flexible." Maggie giggles, reaching for Tweety, who flutters above her, chirping joyfully. Bugs Bunny crouches beside Lisa. "Kid, watch closely. Emotional interactions like these are the pulse of the crossover. They can stabilize it, or break it." Lisa frowns. "I know. That's the problem." Across town, the other Springfield families experience similar interactions. The Flanders kids bounce on invisible trampolines with Porky Pig. Milhouse and Ralph form a chaotic duo with Sylvester, chasing imaginary butterflies while causing precisely timed havoc. Even Mr. Burns watches The Simpsons through binoculars, intrigued by the family's resilience and adaptability. "Remarkable," he mutters. "Humans, when paired with controlled nonsense, achieve impressive coordination." Back in the Simpson living room, Marge sets a table. Homer flips a donut into the air. It spins, lands perfectly on his plate, and then bounces back into the air again. Interactive food," he says. Lisa pinches the bridge of her nose. The toon influence is making even basic meals dangerous. Suddenly, Bugs Bunny hops onto the couch. "All right, folks, time for the first official family exercise. Chaos coordination. Everyone participates." Homer grins. "I was born for this." Bart smirks. "Let's do it." Maggie crawls toward Tweety, cooing. Marge folds her hands. "Okay, I guess." Bugs pulls out a small chalkboard and scribbles instructions in rapid cartoon strokes. Step 1. Don't break anything permanently. Step 2. Follow comedic timing. Step 3. Laugh appropriately. Homer salutes. Check, check, check. Lisa raises an eyebrow. This is actually a controlled simulation of multiversal interaction. The family's behavior will determine local stability. Bugs nods. Translation: do it right. Springfield stays safe. Do it wrong. The house, maybe the town, goes wonky. Homer frowns. Say what now? Before anyone can respond, the exercise begins. Bart launches into a rocket-powered roll across the room. Daffy spins in coordination, tossing pies that perfectly land on predetermined spots. Homer tries to join but slips, bounces once, lands in a stack of pancakes Sam had left nearby. Marge frowns. Homer! He pops out, covered in syrup but grinning. I'm participating. Maggie reaches Tweety, who perches gently on her head. Baby and bird exchange a tiny giggle. Lisa scribbles notes at lightning speed. Family dynamics are amplifying the crossover energy. Emotional engagement equals narrative strength. If this continues, we could achieve. Bugs interrupts. Maximum controlled chaos. Even Marge, hesitant at first, begins to enjoy herself. She dodges falling pies, organizes flying utensils, and even manages to fold pancakes into neat little rocket shapes. Homer, Bart, and Daffy create a sequence of pratfalls that bounce off each other with perfect comedic timing. Lisa realizes something critical. If we synchronize the family emotionally with the Looney Tunes, we can stabilize Springfield. and strengthen the portal. Bugs winks. Exactly. Family plus tune equals balance. Science says so. Homer wipes syrup from his face. Marge, we're teamworking. Marge sighs, smiling despite herself. I suppose we are. Bart cheers. Yeah, family mashup. The portal above the house pulses gently in response. Lisa watches, relieved. It's working, for now, but we have to maintain focus. Emotional instability could undo everything we've built. Bugs Bunny twirls his carrot. Kid, keep an eye on them. These next moves are gonna test their bonds more than pies ever could. And somewhere, outside, the town hums in sync with the Simpson family, reflecting the subtle truth. When chaos meets family, Springfield can survive almost anything. The family exercise intensifies as the morning stretches on. Homer has taken to wearing a helmet labeled safety optional, which is mostly decorative. He lunges into the next sequence, crashing into a stack of pancakes that Daffy had set spinning. The pancakes soar across the room, landing perfectly on Bart, who yelps and rolls into a pile of confetti while laughing hysterically. See! Homer shouts between bites. Chaos can be nutritious. Marge, meanwhile, guides Maggie and Lisa through a sequence of gentle pratfalls designed to teach precision and timing without anyone getting hurt. She keeps one eye on the floating pies and another on Tasmanian Devil, who's spinning in the corner like a small tornado. This is exhausting, she mutters. I never thought I'd supervise cartoon mayhem at breakfast. Tweety flutters over to Maggie again, chirping encouragingly. Maggie giggles and reaches toward him. Tweety lands softly on her hand, causing her to squeal in delight. Marge watches, heart warmed despite the chaos. Lisa scribbles frantically in her notebook. Emotional bonding is amplifying the narrative energy more than any slapstick could. The family's interactions with the Looney Tunes are stabilizing the portal locally. But if someone loses control, even a small argument could propagate like a chain reaction. Bugs. Bunny hops onto the counter, surveying the scene with a carrot in hand. Looks like we're entering advanced level chaos management. Everyone's emotions now directly influence Springfield's structural integrity. Homer, noticing Bugs, waves enthusiastically. Hey Bugs, you want to try the pancake rocket? Bugs shakes his head. Nah, that's a Homer level experiment. You handle that, we just watch reality warp around you. Bart, catching a flying pie mid-spin, yells, Dad, watch me! He launches himself into a series of flips that weave around a falling anvil. Daffy mirrors the moves in perfect synchronicity. Now that's choreography, Daffy exclaims. Homer nods proudly. We're like a team. Lisa points toward the portal. See that shimmer? The family's emotional synchronization is directly influencing the portal's stability. Every interaction generates energy, and the Looney Tunes amplify it. If we maintain this rhythm, Springfield could become a perfectly balanced crossover node, temporarily immune to desynchronization. Marge folds her arms. So, this is all science? Lisa nods. In a way, family dynamics plus interdimensional interaction equals controlled narrative energy. Too little focus and chaos spikes. Too much and, well, you've seen how it can get dangerous. At that moment, Milhouse bursts into the room, carrying a clipboard and wearing a small helmet marked Observation Duty. Lisa, I've been mapping emotional resonance points. Look. He points to a diagram of overlapping circles with Homer at the center. The Simpson core generates peak stability. If we enhance the interactions between Dad and the Looney Tunes, we can maximize portal synchronization. Homer nods slowly, chewing pancake fragments. So, I'm important? Extremely, Lisa confirms. You're like the emotional keystone. Homer grins and flexes dramatically. I always knew my love of chaos would pay off. The next stage of the exercise begins. Bugs Bunny arranges a series of timed gags around the house, each designed to elicit a reaction from a specific family member. A spring-loaded pie propels past Marge, who ducks neatly and directs it back into Homer's trajectory. Homer catches it, trips over a floating chair, and launches it into Daffy Duck. Daffy spins, landing perfectly atop a spinning kitchen table, confetti exploding from beneath him. Maggie giggles as Tweety floats around her, adding visual distractions that test the family's coordination. Lisa observes patterns carefully. They're learning to anticipate each other's moves. Emotional understanding is being reinforced with slapstick feedback loops. If this continues, the family could maintain portal stability even under extreme narrative stress. Bugs Bunny nods appreciatively. Kid, you're a natural at this. Keeping a family synchronized is harder than directing a full cartoon orchestra. Suddenly, the portal pulses brighter. Lisa freezes. It's responding to high-level emotional engagement. The stronger the bonds, the more energy is available, but too much emotional intensity could overload it. Homer, oblivious to the technical jargon, yells, "Woo-hoo! Emotional chaos activate!" He spins in a loop, colliding into Bart and Daffy. Bart laughs hysterically. "Dad, this is insane!" Daffy ducks a flying pie. It's amazing chaos. Marge sighs, brushing syrup from her dress. I just want everyone to stay safe. Lisa, monitoring the portal, taps her instruments nervously. If the family doesn't maintain focus, the portal could destabilize and spread desynchronization across Springfield. This is a critical moment. Bugs. Bunny hops onto the counter. Relax, kid. They've got this. It's all about timing, trust, and teamwork, and maybe a little luck. Maggie, reaching for Tweety, triggers a tiny chain reaction. A pie flips in midair, lands on Homer, who slips, knocking a chair into Daffy, who bounces perfectly into Bart. The sequence is flawless, the family laughing in unison. Lisa exhales. It's working. They're maintaining the emotional rhythm, the portal stabilizing in response to the family's coordinated chaos. Homer, brushing confetti from his hair, glances at Marge. See, Marge? Chaos can bring us together. Marge can't help but smile, despite the mess. I suppose, in a strange, syrup-covered way, it does. Bugs Bunny twirls his carrot like a conductor's baton. And that, folks, is how personal interaction saves the day. Family plus chaos equals balance. Who'd have thought? For a moment, all is calm, relatively speaking. The portal glows softly above the house, the shimmer reflecting the harmonious interplay of Springfield's residents and their loony counterparts. Lisa jots down her final notes. If this continues, the Simpson family could act as a stabilizing node for the entire town, maintaining equilibrium even as other chaotic elements emerge. Emotional connections aren't just narrative, they're functional. Homer smiles, holding a pancake aloft. I like functional. Marge chuckles. I like you being functional, mostly. Bart grins, tossing a pie high into the air. Best, family, chaos, ever. Tweety chirps. Maggie giggles. Daffy flaps dramatically, and Bugs Bunny winks at Lisa. Above them, the portal hums a gentle, approving tone. Springfield, loony, human, messy, alive, is holding together. For now, the house vibrates with activity. Homer has taken to using a rolling pin as a makeshift pogo stick. Each bounce launches him into increasingly elaborate pratfalls, occasionally colliding with Daffy Duck, who responds with exaggerated flaps and squeals. Bart, riding his rocket skateboard, weaves between flying pies, bouncing pancakes, and a trampoline that seems to have a mind of its own. Marge sighs, but this time there's a smile tugging at her lips. I think we're actually coordinating. Lisa observes the sequence carefully. The synchronization of emotional responses is remarkable. Homer's unpredictability, when paired with Bart's improvisation and Marge's stabilizing influence, creates a feedback loop that strengthens portal stability. Bugs. Bunny hops onto the countertop, balancing a teacup on his head. Yep, family dynamics aren't just charming, they're functional. Homer catches a flying pancake midair, spins once, and throws it directly at Bart, who somersaults, catching it on his skateboard. Daffy flaps in perfect rhythm, adding an extra layer of chaos that somehow enhances the timing. Marge shakes her head. I can't believe I'm saying this, but it's beautiful. Maggie claps her hands, watching Tweety flit overhead. Each flutter creates subtle ripples in the local narrative field, tiny pulses that Lisa notes with awe. Lisa jots furiously in her notebook. Even the youngest members are generating measurable narrative energy. Emotional engagement scales exponentially with attention and intent. Bugs Bunny winks at her. Translation: babies are secretly stabilizing Springfield. Who knew? Outside, the rest of the town mirrors the family's activity. Ed Flanders coordinates with Porky Pig, using gentle, precise movements to orchestrate a domino run of objects that would be disastrous if mistimed. Milhouse and Sylvester chase imaginary butterflies, bouncing off walls in exact alignment with the slapstick rhythm. Even Mr. Burns from his VIP box observes quietly, noting how coordinated emotional engagement can influence structural stability. Remarkable, he murmurs. Humans, when synchronized with chaos, can produce predictable results. Inside the living room, the next phase begins. Emotional improvisation. Bugs. Bunny hands each family member a cue card, each with a single prompt. Express joy, fear, surprise, or mischief in combination with slapstick. Homer's card reads, Surprise at food explosion. He throws himself backward, arms flailing, landing on a pile of pancakes, but instead of causing disarray, the pancakes bounce him back upright, sending a confetti cannon into Daffy's path. Daffy spins, flapping frantically, landing on Bart, who rolls into a bouncing pie. Lisa notes, they're generating complex emotional narrative sequences. The output is stabilizing rather than destabilizing because reactions are synchronized with environmental cues. Marge's card reads, Calm Rescue. She steps in to guide Maggie, Tweety, and Homer, redirecting the chaos gently. Even her subtle emotional cues propagate outward, aligning other interactions in the room. Bart's card reads, Mischievous Joy. He grins, launching an improvised rocket skateboard sequence, which Daffy mirrors, creating a loop of escalating yet controlled, chaotic energy. Bugs Bunny observes, That kid is a masterclass in emotional chaos management. Everyone's reactions are timed to reinforce the narrative rhythm. Even the mistakes are synchronized. The portal above the house shimmers softly, pulsing in response to the emotional output. Its glow brightens slightly with each perfectly timed laugh or misstep, then dims gently, as if breathing. Homer wipes syrup from his hair and looks at Marge. Hey Marge, this is kind of fun. We're a team. Marge smiles, adjusting a bouncing chair midair. I suppose, in a weird, syrupy way. You're right. Bart flips over a trampoline, landing perfectly next to Daffy, who's caught a flying pancake mid-flap. Team Chaos, Bart shouts. Lisa scribbles, If the family maintains focus, portal energy can be sustained indefinitely. Emotional coherence plus slapstick feedback is a viable method of dimensional stabilization. Bugs. Bunny twirls his carrot. Yep, chaos becomes functional when everyone knows the beat. Suddenly, a new sequence begins. Tweety leads Maggie to a small pile of Acme crates. Maggie touches one, causing it to wobble and trigger a mini chain reaction. Pies fly, pancakes bounce, and confetti explodes, all in perfect alignment with Homer's ongoing pratfalls. Lisa's eyes widen. This is unprecedented. The youngest member of the family just amplified narrative stabilization through interaction with Looney Tunes elements. Emotional and physical engagement are converging into a high-efficiency feedback loop. Homer leaps onto a floating chair, flips, and lands in a stack of pancakes that launch into the air in perfect arcs. Daffy catches one, tossing it back as Bart rolls underneath it, forming a seamless cycle. Bugs. Bunny claps his hands. Bravo! That's art. That's chaos, turned into science. Marge catches Maggie mid-bounce. I think we've actually done it. We're keeping Springfield together. Lisa nods. For now, but I have to monitor this continuously. Emotional overstimulation could still destabilize the portal. Homer glances around, blissfully unaware of the technical jargon. I love it when chaos feels meaningful. Bart somersaults past Daffy. Best family day ever. Tweety chirps. Maggie coos. And Bugs Bunny winks at Lisa. The portal pulses one last time, reflecting the perfect synchronization of emotions, slapstick, and personal engagement. Springfield feels alive, not just as a town, but as a living narrative sustained by the interplay of family, friends, and Looney Tunes antics. Lisa breathes a sigh of relief. Emotional cohesion. Successful. The Simpson family has proven to be an effective stabilizing node. Bugs. Bunny nods. Kid, today's lesson. Family chaos in a problem. A solution if you manage it right. Homer grabs a pancake, twirls it like a frisbee, and tosses it at Bart. Teamwork. Bart catches it midair. Team chaos. Marge chuckles, brushing herself off. I'll admit, this wasn't what I expected, but it worked. And above them, the portal hums gently, glowing in soft, multicolored pulses, the heartbeat of a temporarily stable crossover. For the Simpson family, and for Springfield, today proves one thing. When chaos becomes personal, and when laughter is shared, even the wildest realities can hold together. The living room trembles slightly, as if sensing the peak of narrative energy. Homer, still bouncing off a floating pancake, freezes midair. For the first time, his cartoonish elasticity falters. He lands heavily on the floor, just barely catching himself on a rolling chair. That felt weird, he mutters, brushing syrup off his hair. Bart skids past him, a pie in hand. Dad, that bounce was offbeat. Are you okay? Homer shakes his head. I don't know. I feel normal for a second, and weird for another. Lisa steps forward, notebook in hand. That's the portal responding. Emotional energy is hitting critical mass. Even slight deviations in family interaction are creating local instability. Bugs Bunny hops onto the couch, balancing a carrot on his nose. Translation: the family's bonds are strong, but the chaos's intensity is peaking. Things might get personal. Marge frowns. Personal chaos? I've had enough of that in my life already. Tweety flutters over, perching delicately on Maggie's hand. That's gonna be tricky, he chirps. The next sequence begins almost imperceptibly. Homer tries to help Daffy catch a flying pancake, but the timing is slightly off. The pancake spins past Daffy and strikes Bart mid-roll, launching him into a stack of books. Bart yelps, but quickly rolls out of harm's way. "Dad!" he shouts. "Watch the timing!" Homer scratches his head. I thought I was in sync." Lisa steps in, tapping her instruments. Even minor emotional misalignments are propagating. If they don't adjust immediately, narrative coherence could collapse locally, spilling into Springfield proper. Bugs Bunny claps his hands. "Looks like it's lesson time. Chaos is fine, but personal stakes matter. Everyone has to anticipate each other's emotional beats." Marge steps forward, gently nudging Homer and Bart into position. "We need to work together, for Springfield and for ourselves." Homer nods. "Right, together. Team, chaos." Daffy flaps energetically. "And timing. Don't forget timing." The family re-engages. Bart launches into a new sequence, flipping over an improvised obstacle course of pies, pancakes, and confetti. Homer bounces on a trampoline, flipping over Daffy in perfect rhythm. Marge directs Maggie and Tweety, ensuring their movements complement the rest of the action. Even Lisa steps into the physical rhythm, directing the sequence with precise notes and cues. The portal above the house pulses brightly, responding to their emotional synchronization. Its hum is almost musical now, blending the chaotic slapstick below with harmonic tones. For a moment, everything aligns. And then, suddenly, it doesn't. A shock wave ripples through the room. Pies hang suspended midair. Pancakes wobble like jelly. Daffy spins too far, knocking into Bart, who trips over Homer, sending them both rolling into a pile of confetti. Homer groans. "Ow! That hurt. And that was fun?" Lisa stares at her instruments. The narrative is fracturing. Emotional intensity is too high. Love, fear, joy, chaos. It's all colliding at once. Bugs. Bunny sighs, leaning against the couch. "I warned you. When chaos gets personal, it's unpredictable." Marge glares at Homer. "You didn't keep your bounce consistent?" Homer frowns. I tried." Tweety flutters frantically. "Oh no, that's too much." Bart rolls out of the pile, landing in a heap of pancakes. "Dad, we're overloading the system." Lisa bites her lip. If the family doesn't recalibrate immediately, the portal could destabilize, spilling the emotional chaos into the entire town. Bugs Bunny nods. Time for the ultimate emotional coordination exercise. The family takes a deep breath. Marge steadies Homer. "Homer, focus on my cues. Bart, follow your dad. Maggie, stay with Tweety. Lisa, guide us through." Homer nods, determination shining through the syrup. "Okay. Team Chaos, take 2. Bart launches first, weaving between floating pies. Daffy mirrors his movements, flapping just behind him. Homer jumps on a bouncing chair, flipping perfectly over Daffy and Bart, landing safely on a trampoline. Marge directs Maggie and Tweety, creating synchronized arcs of movement that blend into the sequence. Lisa counts aloud. 1, 2, 3. Engage. Emotional rhythm. The family moves in perfect harmony. Emotional beats aligning with physical movements. Homer catches a pancake mid-flip, tossing it to Bart, who launches it directly at Daffy. Daffy spins, bouncing into a stack of confetti, which lands neatly on Maggie's hands. Even Tweety flutters in perfect arcs, adding subtle adjustments to the chaos. The portal pulses, glowing brightly, stabilizing. Lisa exhales. It's working. They're back in sync. Bugs. Bunny grins. And that, kid, is how you manage personal chaos. Emotional engagement plus physical timing equals multiversal harmony. Homer, covered in syrup, pancakes, and confetti, looks proud. I did good. Marge smiles, brushing off her dress. You did surprisingly well. Bart high-fives Homer. Team Chaos for life. Maggie clapped at Tweety, who chirps happily. Lisa nods. The Simpson family has proven they can stabilize even high-intensity emotional chaos. For now, Springfield is safe. Bugs Bunny tips his hat. For now, kid. But remember, when families get personal, the stakes are never really gone. Keep an eye on them. Homer pops a pancake into his mouth. Steaks are delicious. Bart tosses a pie into the air. And fun. Marge sighs, smiling through exhaustion. I guess chaos can be beautiful. Above the house, the portal glows gently, humming in approval. A temporary equilibrium achieved, but with the subtle reminder that personal stakes can always tip the balance again. Springfield, loony, human, absurd, and alive, has survived the most intimate test yet. But somewhere deep within the portal, a shadow stirs, watching, waiting for the next emotional surge. The family laughs together, unaware of the quiet tension that still lingers above. And in that laughter, Springfield and its loony visitors find a fragile, beautiful balance. The morning after the family's emotional triumph dawns unusually calm over Springfield. The sun rises in pastel streaks, the air still humming faintly from yesterday's chaotic energy. Even the town seems to exhale collectively, as if catching its breath. Homer sits on the couch, staring at a pancake that refuses to settle flat. It wobbles like a jelly, spinning gently in midair before landing softly on his plate. Breakfast is alive today, he mutters. Bart skates past, tipping his hat at Daffy, who flaps enthusiastically in midair. Good morning, Chaos Buddy. Daffy spins, leaving a trail of confetti behind him. Morning, kid. Today, we escalate. Bugs Bunny lounges on the windowsill, chewing a carrot. Not so fast. The portal's energy is fading, but don't think that means things are over. When a crossover ends, it always leaves a mark. Lisa steps into the room, clipboard and instruments in hand. He's right. The portal is gradually losing energy, which means narrative feedback loops will weaken. Stability will decrease unless the town and the family maintain synchronization until the final fade. Marge sets a plate of toast down. Does that mean chaos is still dangerous? Lisa nods. Exactly. The fading portal doesn't neutralize the energy. It just disperses it unevenly. Springfield will experience residual effects. Homer perks up. Residual effects? That sounds tasty. Bugs. Bunny groans. Leave the metaphors to the kids, bub. Outside, the town begins to feel the first tremors of post-portal imbalance. A street lamp flickers, oscillating like it's unsure whether to be on or off. A tree stretches unnaturally, leaves spinning in slow motion before snapping back to normal. Even Moe's bar seems to sway slightly, though patrons remain oblivious, chatting over their drinks. Lisa frowns. Localized destabilization. The fading portal is creating minor distortions. If it continues unchecked, the next wave could propagate chaos across Springfield proper. Bart laughs, tossing a pie high into the air. Sounds like fun. Bugs Bunny sighs. Fun, yeah. Until someone loses a toe or two. Meanwhile, the Simpsons family begins their morning ritual of chaos coordination, trying to stabilize what's left of the portal's energy. Homer bounces off a trampoline, catching a flying pancake and tossing it directly at Daffy. Daffy spins, flapping in response, but the trajectory wobbles slightly. Lisa groans. Even minor deviations now can cascade. Small mistakes will amplify. Marge steps in, gently guiding Homer's trajectory. Focus, Homer. Think controlled chaos, not random chaos. Homer nods. Controlled. Chaos. Got it. Bart flips into the next sequence, weaving between bouncing pies and floating confetti. Tweety flits alongside Maggie, coordinating with Marge to stabilize the younger generation's interactions. Lisa monitors the portal above the house. Its colors swirl faintly, glowing less brightly than before, a soft hum replacing the earlier energetic pulse. "This is it," she mutters. "The portal is fading." But the narrative momentum hasn't completely dissipated. Any sudden spike of emotional or physical chaos could trigger a residual reaction. Bugs. Bunny hops onto the counter. Translation: "We're walking a tightrope over a volcano. Have fun." Suddenly, a loud whoosh reverberates across the room. A swirl of confetti and pancake fragments spins upward, coalescing into an unstable vortex above the house. Homer freezes mid-flip. Is that supposed to happen?" Bart's eyes widen. "Portal energy residue." Daffy flaps frantically. "Incoming chaos spike." Lisa grabs her instruments. The energy is coalescing. Residual narrative threads are forming a localized feedback loop. If we don't manage it, Springfield will experience a full-scale multiversal ripple. Bugs. Bunny leans against the fridge. "Well, we warned you." Marge takes a deep breath. "Everyone, stay focused. Use what we learned yesterday. Controlled chaos, personal coordination." The family springs into action. Homer catches a flying pancake midair, flinging it at Daffy, who spins and deflects it into a stack of confetti. Bart rolls under the trajectory, tossing a pie that lands on Maggie's lap. Tweety flutters beside Maggie, adding subtle nudges to keep the sequence aligned. Lisa counts aloud. 1, 2, 3. Synchronize. The portal pulses weakly, responding to the family's coordinated actions. Its glow brightens fractionally, stabilizing the swirling vortex above. Bugs Bunny claps. "Not bad. Keep it up. This is the crescendo, folks." Suddenly, a sharp ripple tears through the vortex. Anvil-shaped shadows stretch across the walls. A misfired pie arcs dangerously toward the ceiling, spinning in slow motion. Homer grabs it instinctively, but it slips from his hands, bouncing into Daffy. Daffy spins out of control, flapping into Bart. Lisa shouts, "Adjust! Emotional alignment! Focus on the rhythm, not just the slapstick!" Marge grabs Homer's arm. "Dad, pay attention!" Homer nods. "Controlled chaos, Marge. Controlled chaos." Bart twists midair, redirecting Daffy and the pie, sending them safely into a trampoline that arcs confetti harmlessly across the room. Tweety nudges Maggie to the right, guiding her movement so that the sequence remains stable. The portal hums, brighter now, responding to the synchronized family. Lisa exhales, her eyes scanning her instruments. It's working. The family's personal coordination is reinforcing residual stability, but it's only temporary. The portal will fade completely soon, and the next spike could be unpredictable. Bugs. Bunny sighs, twirling his carrot. "Kids, this is the part where we all learn a lesson. Even when a multiverse portal fades, chaos doesn't just disappear. It leaves resonance, and sometimes a bang." Homer scratches his head. "A bang? That sounds fun." Lisa groans. "Homer, the bang isn't fun. It's catastrophic if uncontrolled." Before anyone can react, the vortex above erupts. Confetti, pancakes, pies, and minor stage props swirl violently, forming a chaotic cyclone. The family braces, aligning themselves instinctively. Homer flips, catching a pie midair. Bart rolls beneath him, redirecting Daffy. Marge coordinates Maggie and Tweety while Lisa monitors the pulse. The vortex grows, expanding beyond the house, stretching across the yard, twisting the air in a strange melodic hum. Springfield residents peer outside in confusion. A street lamp flickers, a tree bends impossibly, and Moe's bar quivers slightly. The town feels the residual energy ripple. Homer yells mid-flip, "Team Chaos now!" Bart rolls, tossing pies. Daffy flaps in exact sync. Marge guides Maggie. Tweety chirps, Lisa counts aloud, her voice steady. 1, 2, 3, synchronize. The vortex collapses suddenly in a spectacular display, a shower of harmless confetti, bouncing pancakes, and arcs of pie crust that land neatly around the yard. The portal above the house fades completely, leaving only a soft shimmer in the morning light. Homer lands, covered in syrup and confetti, and grins. That was a bang. Bart laughs, flipping over a trampoline. We did it! Marge shakes her head, smiling despite the mess. I can't believe that worked. Lisa monitors her instruments one last time. Portal fully dissipated. Residual narrative energy has dispersed. Springfield is stable. For now. Bugs. Bunny hops down, waving a carrot. And that, folks, is how you survive the grand finale. Chaos fades, but the memory and maybe a pancake or two sticks around. Homer grabs a piece of confetti, munching it. Delicious and educational. Bart high-fives Daffy. Team Chaos forever. Tweety chirps, Maggie giggles, and Marge sighs, brushing syrup off her dress. The house, the family, and Springfield itself have survived the fading portal, though the echoes of chaos linger faintly in the air. And above it all, the sky returns to normal, calm, but ready to hum again at the slightest provocation. The morning light softens over Springfield, illuminating the aftermath of the fading portal. The town is quieter now, but not silent. There's a residual hum in the air, a subtle vibration that hints at yesterday's chaos. Even the sidewalks seem slightly wobbly, as if remembering the slapstick ballet that unfolded across the town square. Homer sits on the couch, surveying the living room. Pancakes wobble gently in midair before settling on plates, and stray confetti drifts lazily to the floor. He picks up a half-spun pie and grins. Breakfast encore, he mutters. Bart zips past, riding his rocket skateboard through a carefully choreographed loop around the living room furniture. Daffy Duck mirrors the trajectory, flapping so precisely it almost looks rehearsed. Morning, Homer, Bart calls. You ready for round 2 of cleanup chaos? Homer groans, picking up a trampoline. Do we have to? Marge enters the room, balancing Maggie on her hip and a broom in her other hand. Yes, Homer. Chaos may have faded, but the mess hasn't. Tweety flits past Maggie, chirping and leaving a trail of tiny sparkling particles in the air. Maggie giggles, reaching toward the floating sparkles. Lisa steps forward with her clipboard, scanning the room. The portal's energy has dissipated, but residual narrative fluctuations remain. Minor spatial distortions are still present, and the town will feel echoes of loony interaction for days, possibly weeks. Bugs Bunny leans against the doorframe, munching a carrot. Translation: cleanup's gonna be weird, and fun, and weirdly fun. Outside, Springfield bears the imprint of yesterday's chaos. A street lamp tilts slightly, as if bowing under the weight of invisible laughter. Trees bend in strange arcs, leaves spinning slowly before landing. Even Moe's bar sways subtly, though patrons sip their drinks like nothing unusual happened. Lisa frowns. Localized residual effects are observable. These minor distortions could persist if emotional or narrative spikes occur. Homer, now holding a pancake that refuses to settle flat, chuckles. I like living on the edge. Bart flips past, pies flying harmlessly through the air in arcs that seem too precise to be random. Daffy flaps behind him. Precision chaos, Daffy declares. Marge sighs, brushing pancake crumbs from the floor. I suppose we'll just have to learn to live with it. Tweety perches on Maggie's head, chirping in agreement. Maggie giggles, reaching up to grab the little bird. Lisa observes, taking notes. Even infants are contributing to residual stabilization. Emotional engagement, even passive, is creating minor but important feedback loops that maintain equilibrium in the absence of the portal. Bugs Bunny winks at her. Kid, you ever think babies are secretly the unsung heroes of multiverse stability? Lisa smiles faintly. Apparently, yes. Meanwhile, the Looney Tunes begin wrapping up their stay. Daffy spins in a dramatic bow, flapping across the yard. Well, folks, I must say, this Springfield experience has been educational, chaotic, and highly gratifying. Bugs. Bunny hops onto the roof, waving. Time to bounce. Don't worry, I left the multiversal keys in the mailbox. Wile E. Coyote packs up a Rube Goldberg contraption, carefully storing every spring, pulley, and rocket in labeled crates. Safety first, sometimes, he mutters, almost apologetically. Yosemite Sam stomps past Chief Wiggum, waving a tiny flag. I'll be taking my chaos elsewhere, you hear? Even Roadrunner streaks across the sky, leaving a faint trail of sparks and laughter behind him. Inside the house, the Simpsons continue to coordinate residual chaos. Homer tries to catch a flipping pancake, only for it to bounce off a stack of confetti and land on his head. Breakfast surprise, he announces proudly. Bart spins past on his skateboard, narrowly avoiding a floating pie. Dad, you're too slow. Daffy flaps in response. Nonsense. It's all about style. Marge sighs. Style. Chaos. Whatever it is, just clean it up. Lisa steps forward. Even though the portal is gone, the family's personal coordination continues to stabilize the local residual energy. This is crucial. Without ongoing synchronization, small distortions could amplify into larger multiversal anomalies. Homer grins. Ongoing synchronization? That sounds fancy. And fun. Tweety chirps from Maggie's head, fluttering slightly to nudge a stray pie back into its trajectory. Maggie laughs, clapping her hands. Bugs Bunny hops onto the counter. Kids, this is the post show. Keep the rhythm, but enjoy it. Think of it as a curtain call for chaos. The town slowly begins to return to normal, but small hints of loony influence remain. The mailbox jiggles independently, as if it's breathing. Sidewalk cracks curl slightly, then snap back. Even the fountain in the town square gurgles to a comedic rhythm, a soft echo of yesterday's synchronized pratfalls. Lisa notes, residual narrative fluctuations are dispersing through Springfield, but emotional engagement from the family and the townspeople is keeping everything stable. Homer, holding a pancake, looks at Marge. Marge, I think we can handle this. Chaos or not, we're a team. Marge smiles. Yes, Homer. Team Chaos, or Team Cleaning. Bart rolls past on his skateboard, tossing a pie to Daffy. Team, everything. Daffy spins midair. Team Chaos forever. Bugs Bunny chuckles, leaning against the wall. And that, folks, is the end of the portal's visit. Fades away, but not without leaving a bang, some lessons, and a lot of pies. Homer grabs a piece of confetti, munching it. Delicious and educational. Outside, the town square is alive with subtle motion. A lamp tilts, a tree bends, leaves swirl briefly, and a trampoline bounces slightly without anyone on it. Lisa observes quietly. The multiverse has left its imprint. Even though the portal has closed, residual energy remains. The town will never be exactly the same. Bugs Bunny winks at her. Exactly. And isn't that the fun part? Homer grins, tossing a pancake high into the air. It's definitely fun. Bart high-fives Daffy. Chaos accomplished. Marge shakes her head, laughing softly. I suppose Some chaos is worth keeping. Tweety chirps, Maggie giggles, and the morning sun glints off the faint shimmer that lingers in the air. A reminder that Springfield has survived, changed forever, and yet, still standing. The sun climbs higher, casting long, playful shadows over Springfield. The town streets are littered with confetti, stray pancakes, and a scattering of anvils that somehow landed upright. Even the sidewalks ripple faintly as if chuckling, echoing the portal's vanished energy. Homer sits on the porch, attempting to balance a pancake on his nose. Perfect breakfast, circus edition, he declares proudly. Bart skates past, narrowly avoiding a flying pie that seems to have a mind of its own. Daffy Duck flaps behind him, matching his movements with exaggerated flair. "Morning, Homer! You ready for final chaos cleanup?" Bart shouts. Homer groans. "Do we have to clean up?" Marge steps onto the porch, holding Maggie and a broom. "Yes, Homer. Chaos may have faded, but the mess hasn't. And the Looney Tunes will be leaving soon. Let's give them a proper send-off." Tweety flits above Maggie, chirping excitedly. Maggie giggles, reaching for the little bird. Lisa steps forward, notebook in hand. Even though the portal has closed, residual narrative energy remains. The town's subtle distortions need ongoing emotional coordination to fully dissipate. If left unchecked, small disturbances could amplify. Bugs Bunny hops onto the railing, munching a carrot. Translation: Springfield isn't done with chaos yet. Might as well enjoy it before it settles for good. Across the town, the Looney Tunes are gathering their props and saying their goodbyes. Daffy Duck spins dramatically in the air. Well, folks, I must say, this Springfield adventure has been educational, exhilarating, and, naturally, chaotic. Bugs Bunny balances on the roof, tipping his carrot in farewell. "Time to bounce, folks, but don't worry, if the town starts wobbling, it's only slightly our fault." Wile E. Coyote carefully packs his ASME contraptions, checking labels twice. Safety, sometimes. Responsibility, rarely. Yosemite Sam stomps past Chief Wiggum, waving a tiny flag. "I'll be taking my chaos elsewhere, you hear?" Even Roadrunner streaks across the sky, leaving a faint trail of sparks and laughter behind him. Inside the Simpson house, the family begins cleaning up, still coordinating their movements instinctively. Homer catches a rolling pancake midair, bouncing it into a stack of confetti that flies neatly into a basket. "See? Organized chaos!" Bart flips past him, tossing a pie into the corner. "Dad, you're finally getting it!" Daffy flaps behind Bart, adding visual flair to the sequence. It's art! Pure chaos art! Marge, still holding Maggie, sweeps crumbs into a dustpan. I'll admit, this is strangely satisfying. Lisa monitors her instruments. The residual energy from the portal is dispersing gradually. Family coordination is crucial in maintaining stability until all loony elements have departed. Homer grins. Ongoing synchronization. Got it. Team Chaos forever. Tweety chirps from Maggie's head. Maggie laughs, reaching toward him. Outside, Springfield itself reflects the fading portal's influence. A street lamp tilts slightly, then rights itself. Trees stretch briefly, leaves spinning lazily before falling. Even Moe's bar wobbles subtly, as if remembering yesterday's antics. Lisa notes localized narrative distortions are stabilizing, but minor anomalies may persist for days. Emotional engagement from residents is contributing to equilibrium. Bugs Bunny winks at her. Exactly. And a little chaos left over? That's the seasoning of life. Homer munches a pancake. Seasoned chaos. Tasty. Bart skates past Daffy. Chaos accomplished, Dad. Daffy spins dramatically. And executed flawlessly. Marge laughs softly, brushing pancake crumbs from her dress. I suppose a little chaos isn't so bad. As the Looney Tunes prepare to leave Springfield entirely, the family joins them in one final coordinated sequence. Homer bounces off a trampoline, flipping a pancake toward Daffy. Daffy spins and deflects it into Bart, who rolls under a stack of confetti. Marge directs Maggie and Tweety, keeping them perfectly aligned. Lisa counts aloud. 1, 2, 3. Synchronize. The residual vortex of energy hums faintly, responding to their coordination. Confetti swirls gently. Pancakes hover mid-air for a moment, then land perfectly in place. Bugs. Bunny claps. Bravo. Curtain call, folks. The portal may be gone, but the memory and the chaos remains. Homer pops a pancake into his mouth. Delicious and educational. Bart flips high into the air. Team Chaos forever. Daffy spins midair. Exhibit A, chaos with style. Marge sighs, smiling. I can't believe we did it. Everyone worked together. Tweety chirps, Maggie giggles, and the morning light glints off the faint shimmer lingering in the air. A reminder that Springfield has been changed forever. Even as the Looney Tunes depart through invisible cartoonish portals, traces of their presence remain. A bouncing anvil sits upright in the yard. A stray pie balances improbably on a fence post. Confetti drifts lazily in spirals like tiny galaxies suspended midair. Lisa observes quietly. The narrative impact of the portal remains embedded in the town. Minor anomalies will dissipate over time, but the emotional resonance of the family's engagement has permanently altered Springfield's stability patterns. Bugs Bunny hops down, twirling his carrot. Translation: Springfield will never be quite normal again, and that's the best part. Homer grins, holding a piece of confetti. I like this new normal. Bart laughs, high-fiving Daffy one last time. Chaos accomplished. Marge shakes her head, smiling. I suppose some chaos is worth keeping. The town, alive with small, lingering quirks, hums quietly, the echoes of laughter and slapstick energy creating a gentle rhythm across Springfield. Lisa closes her notebook, satisfied. The portal is gone, the Looney Tunes have departed, and Springfield is stable. But the multiverse leaves subtle marks, reminders that even when chaos fades, it never truly disappears. Bugs Bunny winks at her. Exactly. Remember, kid, chaos is a flavor, not a disease. Sprinkle it carefully. Homer pops another pancake into his mouth. Delicious advice. Bart rolls past one of the last floating pies. Best adventure ever. Tweety chirps, Maggie giggles, Marge sighs happily, and the sun shines on a town that survived the multiverse's wildest visit. And above it all, the faint shimmer of residual energy hints at future surprises. Subtle, harmless, but undeniably loony. The sun reaches its zenith over Springfield, casting long shadows over a town still alive with the subtle echoes of yesterday's chaos. The streets are mostly calm now, but small quirks remain. A lamppost leans slightly, as if bowing to the memories of pancake-flinging antics. Sidewalks ripple faintly, and the fountain in the town square gurgles in an oddly rhythmic pattern, a soft echo of slapstick harmony. Homer lounges on the couch, surveying the living room. Pancakes wobble lazily on plates, confetti drifts in slow spirals, and Tweety perches on Maggie's head, chirping happily. Breakfast encore, Homer mutters, nibbling a pancake that seems to bounce with a life of its own. Bart zips past on his rocket skateboard, tossing a pie toward Daffy Duck. Daffy spins in midair, landing neatly on the trampoline. Precision chaos, he declares. Marge smiles, shaking her head. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I kind of miss the portal already. Lisa steps forward, clipboard in hand. Even though the portal has dissipated, residual narrative energy remains. Small anomalies will linger, and emotional resonance from the family will continue to stabilize the town until it fully disperses. Bugs. Bunny leans against the counter, twirling his carrot. Translation: Springfield will never be exactly the same, and that's the fun part. Homer pops a pancake into his mouth. Delicious and educational. Outside, the Looney Tunes are gathering for their final departure. Daffy Duck spins dramatically in the air. Farewell, Springfield. You've been chaotic, absurd, and delightfully unpredictable. Bugs. Bunny balances on the roof, waving his carrot. Time to bounce, but remember kids, a little chaos goes a long way. Wile E. Coyote packs the last of his Acme contraptions, checking labels with exaggerated care. All accounted for, mostly. Yosemite Sam stomps past the Simpson house waving a tiny flag. I'll be taking my chaos elsewhere, you hear? Even Roadrunner streaks across the sky, leaving a faint sparkling trail, a visual reminder of the multiverse's fleeting touch. Back inside the Simpson house, the family coordinates the final cleanup. Homer catches a rolling pancake midair, bouncing it into a basket of confetti. See? Organized chaos. Bart flips past, sending a pie sailing into the corner. Daffy flaps dramatically behind him. Art. Pure chaos art. Marge sweeps crumbs into a dustpan. I'll admit, this is strangely satisfying. Lisa monitors her instruments one last time. Residual energy is stabilizing. The family's coordination is crucial to fully dissipate the final traces of the portal's influence. Homer grins. Team Chaos forever! Tweety chirps, Maggie giggles, and the family works in harmony to gently restore order while maintaining playful coordination. Outside, Springfield shows the marks of yesterday's adventure. A street lamp tilts, then rights itself, and trees sway gently, leaves spinning briefly before settling. Moe's bar quivers slightly, then returns to normal. The town is alive with subtle, lingering echoes of multiversal activity. Lisa observes quietly. Minor anomalies may persist, but the town's equilibrium is intact. Emotional engagement continues to reinforce stability. Bugs Bunny winks at her. Exactly. And a touch of chaos? That's the seasoning of life. Homer munches a pancake. Seasoned chaos. Tasty. Bart high-fives Daffy one last time. Chaos accomplished. Marge laughs softly, brushing confetti from her dress. I suppose. Some chaos is worth keeping. The Looney Tunes begin disappearing through invisible portals, leaving faint traces of sparkling dust and laughter in their wake. Daffy spins dramatically in a final flourish. Goodbye, Springfield. Remember, chaos is art. Bugs. Bunny winks and hops into a portal. Keep the chaos playful, kids. Wile E. Coyote waves a gloved hand as he vanishes. Goodbye, humans. Mostly harmless. Roadrunner streaks across the sky one final time, leaving behind a trail of harmless sparks that drift lazily to the ground. Inside, the Simpson family watches the last remnants of the Looney Tunes fade from view. Homer sighs, smiling. Well, that was intense. Bart grins. Best adventure ever. Marge sighs, brushing off pancake bits. I suppose a little chaos isn't so bad if it brings the family together. Lisa nods. The portal may be gone, but the lessons remain. Emotional coordination, personal connection, and controlled chaos. These were the real keys to stabilizing the multiverse here in Springfield. Tweety chirps. Maggie claps her hands, and the living room finally settles into a calm rhythm. Pancakes wobble gently, confetti drifts softly, and even Homer sits contentedly, syrup on his face, a small smile on his lips. Outside, Springfield begins to fully return to normal, but traces of loony influence remain. A slightly crooked lamppost, a spinning fountain, a mailbox that jiggles occasionally on its own. Lisa notes, even though the portal has fully closed, residual energy persists. Springfield will carry the memory of the crossover and the lessons learned indefinitely. Bugs. Bunny, from a distant portal, waves one final time. Remember, kids, chaos fades, God, but it never disappears. Use it wisely. Homer waves back, pancake in hand. We will. Bart laughs, tossing a pie high into the air. Team Chaos forever! Daffy spins in midair, performing a final exaggerated bow. Chaos accomplished, Springfield style. Marge smiles, Maggie giggles, and Tweety chirps. The town hums quietly, the faint shimmer of residual energy reflecting off the morning sun. Springfield has survived the portal. The Looney Tunes have departed, and the Simpson family has proven that even personal chaos, when managed with care and love, can stabilize an entire multiverse. And somewhere, in the distant sky, the faintest echoes of cartoon laughter linger, soft, playful, and ever ready to return at the slightest provocation. Homer pops a pancake into his mouth. Delicious and educational. Bart rolls past one last time. Best adventure ever. Marge sighs contentedly. Some chaos is definitely worth keeping. Lisa smiles, closing her notebook. Springfield survived. The multiverse left its mark, but we've learned to live with it and enjoy it. And with that, the town settles. The sun shines, the streets are quiet, and the faint remnants of the portal shimmer only as reminders of a chaotic, unforgettable adventure. For Springfield, life will never be exactly the same again. But in every wobbling pancake, spinning fountain, and drifting confetti flake, there is a reminder. Chaos may fade, but it never truly disappears. And somewhere, above the horizon, a faint glimmer hints at future adventures, waiting, playful, and undeniably loony.